Chapter 2. The Cowshed. The pale outlines of trees and bushes soon gave way, not to brick suburban houses and inconsistently kept lawns as she had expected, but to a level grassy field. Rising from this field was a sheer limestone cliff. Beyond this cliff she could roughly make out a broad, treeless expanse, maybe a beach or even a desert. The cliff was about the size of a skyscraper. Atop the cliff, on a plateau, like a proud but grisly growth, perched a rather ugly old building. Its architectural shortcomings were so evident in the half-light of evening that it almost looked as if it were a vulture hovering in the air. "No, no," she protested. "What is this? Where is this?" Her brain reeled. No one to help. Just an empty road lay behind her. Outlined against a mirthless sky, this hideous yet mesmerizing place towered before her. "Maybe someone in that hotel can tell me where I am and let me phone Mum to give her clear directions as to where exactly to pick me up," she thought. By now she was feeling alarmed, but she decided to ignore it. So, for good measure, and to keep her spirits up, she started to mentally describe the scene before her, as she might have read it in one of her mother's real estate brochures. Her mother was a real estate agent and was always away on weekends doing open houses for people whose 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom villas she hoped to sell. If she hooked a sale, she would get a big commission and buy more shoes and pantyhose. "Enjoy panoramic views from this charming 18th century neo-Gothic castle. Set on prime cliffside real estate, it boasts an impressive medieval-inspired crenellated rooftop, ideally suited for anyone wanting privacy, stunning views, and the unsurpassed lifestyle of a modern lord or lady of the manor. Golfing facilities and exclusive community clubhouse just a 15-minute drive away. Price on negotiation." She almost believed that soon everything would be okay. After what seemed like a long walk, Juliana came to the foot of the hill. The ground beneath her feet was wet and shining after a recent drenching of rain. Winding up the steep and craggy rock was an iron staircase. She climbed and clanged her way up and up and up the dripping staircase. Sore, weary, and breathless, she finally reached the top. No sooner had she reached the summit when she was abruptly intercepted by the dim light of a lantern. Peering into the darkness beyond the lantern's rays was a hard-bitten face of a man in a rough hat and muddy coat. Hello. I was wondering if you could tell me the way to the hotel concierge, please. I need to make a call." Juliana spoke with a crisp confidence she did not feel. Nay, who's this little maidie?" said the gravelled voice, holding the lantern up to Juliana's face. "My name is Juliana Wintour." She put out her hand, but it was ignored. "I thought this was a hotel. My mistake. This must be a private residence. Look," she said soothingly, "I know it's late, and I'm sorry to be a nuisance, but my iPhone's out of reception, so I really need to use your phone for 1 second, and then I'll just wait outside for Mum, okay?" she said. "You mun come with me, lil' maidie," he said darkly. Not chirpy, but at least someone to help. Wordlessly she followed the lantern across what she could only vaguely guess was a stone-flagged courtyard. She noticed that her guide limped slightly on his right leg. The courtyard was lit by the moon, which was very high by now. The limping guide lifted the lantern higher and motioned with his hand that she should turn left into what looked like a large barn. "There, you can go in cowshed," he commanded. By the tone of his voice, and the fact that he was a giant of a man, if a little ruined, she dared not disobey him. "Thank you so much. You've been so kind. Now, if you'll just point me to the phone, please," she said, but he was gone. About her she saw, dimly, a long dormitory lined with beds, actually pallets of straw. Bits of straw were strewn about here and there. Sleeping on these straw beds were children. She reassured herself with the explanation that maybe it was a Dickens-themed sleepover birthday party. and they were replicating the slums of 18th century England. How clever and so authentic, she thought, much impressed by the obvious attention to detail. She gently nudged the boy sleeping on the straw bed nearest to her. Even in the muffled daze of sleep, she could see that he had a nice face, if a bit slow on the uptake. "Sorry to wake you," she whispered, "but I just wanted to use your phone, and maybe the loo." "Mine's tomorrow. Go back to sleep," he said in a dopey voice. "No, you don't understand. I'm not part of the party. I'm—" "Shh," he said, "or the guard will come and put you in the coal cellar." "Oh, you mean Fagin," she said knowingly. "Yes, I met him. Very believable. Deserves an Oscar." "Wardlow," he corrected her. "It was Wardlow on guard tonight. Oh, now please, I'm so tired. Go back to sleep," he said and rolled over. "Well, this is a funny kettle of fish," she thought to herself. Mum would be out of her mind with worry. But it was late. She was dog-tired and had no fight left in her. There seemed nothing for it but to do as the boy said and go to sleep. She would sort it all out in the morning. So Juliana lay down on the rough canvas, which was covered with straw, and on the nearest little bed to her. No sooner had her brown hair touched the coarse pillow than she fell into a fitful sleep.